Okay, picture this. A founder wakes up to an angry forum post at 3 a.m. It reads like a bad customer experience, gets copied into 3 review sites, and someone on Twitter lights up. By noon, there are refund requests, a headline from a small trade blog, and an email from a lawyer threatening a letter. The team scrambles. No one on the product or ops side knows what evidence was saved. The community manager is in tears. Sound familiar? Today, we walk that thread from the post to the policy and show how to fix it without nuking the community.
That image is so real. I see founders freeze in that moment. Either they overreact or they do nothing. Both paths create risk. Overreacting risks chilling legitimate users. Doing nothing risks reputational and legal exposure. Our goal today is to give people a triage checklist they can use immediately and a 30-day moderation sprint to make changes reversibly.
And the good news is, a lot of useful work is low-tech. A timestamp screenshot, a short internal note, a soft hide option, those buy you time and keep evidence intact. You don't need a full trust and safety org to stop the bleeding.
Great. Let's break down what can go wrong first, because if you can't name the risk, you can't measure it. Jessica, give us a plain English run-through. Defamation, copyright issues, doxing, review fraud. How do those play out in a small community?
Sure. Defamation is someone publishing a false statement of fact that harms a business's reputation. That's different from an opinion. Copyright and light of publicity issues arise when users post photos or content they don't have rights to. Think a stolen product image or a celebrity photo. Doxing is publishing private personal information that can cause harm. Review fraud is fake reviews, paid, coordinated, or just malicious. Each of these can trigger different legal obligations or exposure, and importantly, the wording in your policy can create operational obligations if it's too absolute.
Quick follow. Jessica, you said wording creates obligations. Give an example so founders don't accidentally bind themselves.
Absolutely. If your community guidelines say, we remove any false claims immediately, that sounds good to users, but ops will treat it like a promise. Without a clear escalation path or evidence preservation step, you can end up admitting you investigated and concluded something, which can complicate disputes. Better to say you review reports and take action consistent with your published process. That keeps things structured and avoids unintended legal promises.
From an ops perspective, that's huge. If you promise a certain outcome in policy, every report becomes a mini project with expectations. Instead, have a short, repeatable workflow. Snapshot, tag, soft hide option, notify poster, and reporter. Those steps are small, but they stop the scramble.
Okay, now let's talk business impact, because most founders will ask, how much does this actually cost me? Here's where I nerd out. Churn, refunds, and acquisition. Jessica and Eddie, help me make this real. If one viral angry post leads to 2% churn across a small user base, how do we quantify it?
Say you have 5,000 customers, average monthly revenue per user of $50, and 2% of customers churn because of reputational fallout. That's 100 customers lost, or $5,000 a month until you replace them. Add refunds and customer support time, plus the cost of paid acquisition to replace that base, and suddenly a single post becomes a multi-$1,000 recurring hit. The math helps prioritize action.
And don't forget ops cost. Every refund, every escalated complaint, every lawyer email is time. If your support team spends 8 hours across cases because evidence wasn't preserved correctly, that's real payroll cost. Capture that metric, hours per incident. Then you can justify process fixes.
From the legal side, quantify exposure too. A threatened letter could be low cost, or it could escalate if you mishandle the preservation or public statements. Preserve evidence early. If you have to respond later, having a clean chain, time-stamped capture, minimal metadata, documented retention makes counsel's job far cheaper and faster.
All right, legal triage. Jessica, walk us through the immediate do's and don'ts for a team that just found an escalatory post. Keep it in plain English. What are the first 5 things they should do in the first hour?
First hour checklist. Plain English. 1. Preserve a snapshot immediately. Screenshot plus export of the raw text with timestamp and URL. 2. Do not delete the content unless it violates imminent harm policy. Deleting can destroy evidence. 3. Record who reported it and any customer IDs you have, but capture only the minimum personal data needed. 4. Soft hide if your platform supports it. Remove from public view, but keep internal access. 5. Escalate to legal if the post contains threats, clear defamation claims, doxing, or high-value customers are at stake. Remember the jurisdictional caveat. Laws vary, so this is preservation, not legal determination.
I want to underline that preserve a snapshot step. We automate this for clients, a tiny service that grabs the page, records headers, and stores a hash. But you can do it manually. Timestamped screenshot, copy of text, the poster's ID, label it preservation copy, internal use, and set a deletion date. Don't over-collect like IP addresses or full device fingerprints, unless you actually need them for an investigation.
Good. Let's get into Eddie's Ops Playbook. Step-by-step tools and a soft hide demo in words. Walk us through what an operator should do when they open a flagged item.
Operator walkthrough, spoken demo style. Open the report, capture the content text into a ticketing system. Take a timestamp screenshot, copy the permalink, and note the reporter and poster IDs as hashes, not raw emails. If your platform supports a soft hide, toggle it so moderators can see the item but the public can't. Send the poster an initial message, a neutral acknowledgement that you received the report and that the content is under review. If it's a clear policy violation, follow the policy action. If it's borderline, escalate to a named reviewer. Keep every action logged with times and the reviewer name.
Add this legal tip. When you message the poster or public-facing channels, avoid making statements that imply a legal conclusion. Say, "We are reviewing this matter and have taken the content offline pending review," rather than, "We removed this because it was false." The former is operational. The latter can be parsed as an admission in some disputes.
Perfect. Now for the part many teams can actually run next week, the 30-day moderation sprint. We'll keep it reversible and lightweight. Eddie, sketch week by week so listeners can copy it.
Week 1, inventory and snapshot only. Catalog where user content lives, forums, reviews, comments, and test your snapshot process on 5 sample posts. Week 2, pilot the soft hide and appeal workflow on a single channel, train 2 operators and run a mock. Week 3, codify escalation triggers and run a rehearsal of 1 contested takedown with legal in the room. Week 4, roll out the appeal workflow more broadly, publish a short policy update that explains the process, and schedule a weekly checklist review. Each step is reversible. Nothing public changes at scale until you have rehearsed it.
And during that sprint, use minimal evidence design. Capture time-stamped snapshots, the content text, a poster ID hash, and the context URL. Label exports preservation copy, internal use, and set short TTLs. Put a step in week 3 to have counsel look at any items that might be escalated outside policy, especially if an external lawyer has contacted you.
We're getting close to the end. Let's do quick wins and FAQs. We'll do a listener story and 3 rapid scenarios with the exact first action. First, listener story. Founder Emma had a post accusing her of stealing customer data. Panic ensued. She followed a 5-step preservation and soft hide routine, engaged counsel only after preserving evidence, and ended up resolving refunds with 2 customers and a public clarification that reduced churn. Simple process saved her months of headaches.
3 rapid scenarios. 1. Clear doxing. Immediate takedown and escalate to legal and law enforcement if there is imminent harm. 2. Potential defamation. Preserve evidence, soft hide, notify poster and reporter, escalate if high-value customer or media involved. 3. Suspected review fraud. Flag patterns, preserve samples, and if coordinated, consider platform-level reporting. For all 3, collect data, label preservation copies, and set retention dates.
One-line privacy rule worth repeating. Collect only what you need. If you need to contact a poster, hash their ID and store the email only for the duration necessary. Automate deletion where you can. Minimal data reduces future liability.
And the resources, downloadable templates, appeal scripts, and the week-by-week sprint checklist are all at hiddenbusinessrisk.com.
We built these so you can copy them into your workflow today. Remember, this is not legal advice. It's an operator's playbook plus templates that your counsel can review.
Quick final note. Laws differ across countries and states. Use the sprint to create a repeatable preservation and escalation process. Then get counsel to review the parts that could create legal exposure, public statements, high-value takedowns, or anything involving alleged criminal conduct.
And operationally, practice once. Rehearse a contested takedown during week 3. That rehearsal reveals policy gaps and trains people so the next time a real incident happens, your team isn't inventing the wheel in panic.
We promised practical fixes, and that's what we delivered. Triage in the first hour, preservation practices, a reversible 30-day sprint, and templates you can use. If you take one thing away, make evidence capture and a soft hide your default posture. Fast preservation, slow public action.
Before we sign off, heads up. The downloadable kit at hiddenbusinessrisk.com includes a preservation checklist, a soft hide operator script, an appeal template, and a rehearsal script for a contested takedown. Use them, adapt them, and run the sprint on one channel first.
And one last legal hygiene reminder. Label exports clearly, set retention dates, and require that legal review any public-facing statement on contested or high-risk items.
One practical closing tip. Make sure your frontline support has a single short script to acknowledge reports and buy time. That single line reduces escalation and keeps expectations manageable.
Thanks, Jessica, Eddie, and thank you all for listening. If one post keeps you up at night, take 30 minutes this week to run the week 1 inventory, snapshots only, and then come back to hiddenbusinessrisk.com to grab the full sprint kit. We'll see you next time when we unpack vendor contract clauses that quietly create recurring obligations. Take care.